Good morning.
Showtime.
It took a hot minute today for it to.
It did. It
I was like,
did.
are we frozen?
I keep trying to beat the algorithm by smiling, like from the time you push the button till the time that we start talking, because I know that YouTube and Facebook like to freeze my face in the worst positions. Also, it tells me how animated I speak, so that's fun and exciting.
Whoop, whoop.
How you
Oh,
doing?
I am doing okay. I had a really, really, really busy weekend, and I feel like today I have recovered from that. So,
Wow.
um,
On a Tuesday. Took a
yeah.
while.
But Saturday was I did my neurocrystal art class that, like, we're halfway through it, and Vanessa, shout out to Vanessa if you're out there, says we're doing this again. Like, it was just so um like, it's hard to even put the words to it, but
How can you
it
explain
just
it?
creates
Can you explain it like from zero? Like what is it
from
exactly? What is it?
zero. So, and I guarantee I'm not the only person in the world doing this, but it came from, so there is, and I can't remember his last name, but this Russian psychologist, Pavel Piskarov or something like that, and I apologize for butchering the name, but he created this therapeutic art form called neurographica. And I went to a class a while back. One of the techniques that they use to teach you how to do this is you push a penny across the paper with your pen.
Okay.
And you know me, I'm like, I ain't pushing no pennies, I'm pushing crystals across the paper. And so I created this whole event around us creating this artwork, where we start by pushing crystals. And you know me, and I've got like 50 cajillion million crystals. I brought all sorts of different crystals for people to use to push across the paper and make. And it's like, you don't have to be an artist, and you make like these most beautiful, incredible, images to look at.
Yeah.
And but also it's the act of doing it is like, it's for the people who want to meditate but can't sit still and calm their mind to meditate. Like, you have no choice. But and I was like laughing because here we are, five women sitting together at a table in silence. Like, when do you see five women sitting together in silence? Because everybody was just so connected to what they were doing. And it just brings such a peace, a calmness within. And I'm like, I tell you, I'm obsessed with doing it. Like, anytime I need to wind down and collect myself, I'm like, I grab my tablet, my crystal, my pen, and I start going. And it just feels so good. But like, to do this, I had to get up extra early and go set up and then clean up. And then, I have a client she lives out of town now. And she's like, is there any way you can see me on Saturday? I'm going to be in town for the weekend. And so, of course, I squeezed her in. And then we had Sweat Lodge Saturday night.
Oh wow.
And all the men are like up at Sundance. And so here I was preparing the sweat lodge, moving the rocks, preparing the fire, putting the rocks on the fire. And like, there's all that physical labor of it that like 57-year-old Julietta is like doing this in July in the heat, of course. But then there's the energetic side of it that like most people don't even realize. Like, it's not just building the fire. The fire is medicine, and so it's like an energetic load as well. And so, yes, by the end of that evening, I was done. Saturday, I couldn't do, like, I was minimally functional on Sunday. And then yesterday, I had a completely full day. So I didn't really rest yesterday either. But last night, I slept so good, so deep. And I was like excited to wake up and do the show this morning.
That is incredible. That is a lot in one weekend.
It was a
I
lot,
have
but
I
all
have
good.
tried to pare down my life. You know, when I met my partner, he was like, I was like, you want to do like 2 or 3 things on Saturday? And he's like, 3 things. He's like, one thing. One thing is good. And I'm like, one? How boring is that? Now I'm like, I've done one thing. I need to rest.
And
So
you know
yeah.
what? Sometimes it's okay to do 0 things.
Well, I will tell you, that's what we did Sunday. We literally, like, nobody got out of pajamas. We were just at home all day. And I'm not saying we weren't productive, you know, which I came to find out is also like a trauma response. Like if you jump when somebody walks in the room and you feel like you have to be doing something, like trigger. But no, I'm good and comfortable in sitting around and being like, don't bother me. But I did get to catch up on some reading and some writing. And, you know, I started a new project 369 again. So I'm excited about that. But for us, more importantly, we had friends in from South Florida
I
for a
saw
couple days.
that.
Yeah. And it was really, really great to experience this area as a tourist. There have been so many things on the bucket list since we moved here, and I just haven't had a chance to try them out. And I've been here over a year. So I'm really excited that we got to do that. One of my favorite things that we did was go to a place called Two Crows Alpaca Farm, or Two Crows Farm. And I am this close to becoming an alpaca farmer, let me tell you, because it is the cutest, most incredible thing I have ever seen. They have 35 girls and 35 boys, and they have this beautiful, beautiful farm with, of course, gorgeous gardens and everything else. But we got to feed them and we got to pet them. And Allison, my friend, braved it and put her nose forward, and the llama went like that, or the alpaca went like that and touched her nose with his nose. So it was very, very cute. And of course, we had her kids with us as well. So, you know, we got to see little kids engaging with them. Little kids are so fearless. Like, I'm already thinking like, well, how sharp are their teeth? Have they ever bitten someone? Let's double check. Let's be careful. Da, 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 da. And the kids are like, let me shove my hand in their mouth, you know.
I have a whole lot to say about that, but do you want to give a shout out to Tracy, who's listening to us this morning?
Good
Hello,
morning,
hello.
beautiful Tracy, who is taking the BRCA world by storm. I was thinking
Yeah.
about you just the other day. For those that don't know, Tracy runs a nonprofit, and my goodness, so proud of you lately. I see you, girl. So anyway, to finish my alpaca story, of course, the part of the experience is that you go into their gift shop, which is really just a craft woven haven. I mean, they have area rugs and scarves and hats and gloves and even insoles for your shoes. And they show you how they use every part of the hair and just how incredible it is. And so I picked up this little scarf right here. The proceeds from this scarf benefit the Quechua people in Peru, which is kind of the home of the alpaca. So it was really, really cool. That was the absolute highlight of my weekend. I haven't shut up about alpacas for like 4 days now.
So I don't know if you know this. And first of all, I'm curious because you said hair. I believe they call it fiber, but I could be wrong.
I think fiber is a byproduct of, do you know what I mean? Like when it's on the animal, I think it's hair as opposed to fur, because I think I'm allergic to fur and I wasn't allergic to anything. But I think once you take it off, then it becomes a fiber.
I don't know. But my mom used to raise llamas.
Oh.
And A, because she's an animal lover, but B, also she was a craftswoman and did a lot of knitting and weaving. And so
Wow.
they would harvest the fiber. And that's where because I was like, no, it's not fur, it's not hair, it's fiber.
Interesting.
And yes, alpacas and llamas are not the same thing, but they kind of are. And I will say, because I saw someone asked you about spitting, the llamas definitely would spit. I don't think I ever got spit on, but I know my mom got she was with them every single day. So she definitely had got spit on by them. But definitely really cool, interesting animals. And I'm going to recommend you spend more time with them before you decide you're going to start a farm, because spending a few hours with them and raising them every day is a whole.
Sure. I'm thinking like maybe
it's beautiful.
What's that?
Your scarf is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I got lots of fun little pieces. So they had llamas and alpacas both. So it was cool because we got to see them side by side, which really made it easier to identify which one is which. And for whatever it's worth, I think alpacas look like middle school boys, because the ones with the crinkly fur have like this little mop right here, and all the middle school boys look like that now. So it was absolutely hysterical. And no, nobody got spit on. Apparently there was only one lady who really likes to spit, Miss Martha from the herd. And so she would eyeball us and we'd be like, you got your own space, queen. We're not going to bother you. And she was happy with us. So
nice.
But you know what? I'm looking forward to going and volunteering and, shoveling some
cool. Yeah.
for a while. Yeah. It felt really good to be out there and, be amongst the herd. So
be amongst nature.
What's that?
I said be amongst nature. Our question for today is what's one way that nature has inspired you recently? And first I want to say, because this is one of the things that drives me nuts, is that we forget that we are nature.
Powerful.
And so like we always, and it's a language thing. The language has us put nature out there as separate from us, when the truth is we are of this earth and nature as well. So I feel like the question, I'm like, nature inspires me every day, constantly. And even just this morning, we had orioles and cardinals outside, and just like, I felt so honored that they were choosing to pass through my backyard. And when I see the cardinals, like here we're talking about llamas and my mom raising llamas, but every time I see a cardinal, I know my mom is around and listening and supporting, and just being the wonderful source of energy that she is. So but do you have anything else about nature that you want to, because like you have like completely moved and immersed your life into a more natural setting, and so your exposure to those nature movements have to be greatly increased.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm very lucky that I get to look out my window and watch nature in action all the time, and I suppose anybody can do that anywhere, but we are surrounded by trees, and, palm trees tend to look the same, maybe just like a little windblown, but like, right, it's not extreme. Here, I'm watching these massive trees sway back and forth in all kinds of weather. So, and the weather being different has also made me appreciate just how different they look and they are, in each season. So it's kind of exciting. Also, like, I must walk through 20 spider webs on my way to the car in the morning. So nature is truly, literally in my face every day. But I will say the biggest, the question is a way that nature has inspired me. And I'll share two quick things. One is, no matter what, the idea of keep calm and carry on, even during the biggest, like Hurricane Helene and massive floods. The other day, another road was washed out. As soon as a tree falls, it's like, okay. And it starts growing there, right? Like, you don't see trees like going through this painful hanging on to the past that we are so good at, right? Like, they are like, well, I fell, time to become something else, and it immediately becomes something else. So this effortless action is really kind of in my face right now, And the other one I'd love to share Um, Good morning, Joy, and welcome. And shout out to that new, is it great grandbaby? Great grandbaby. Joy has the best grandbabies. So the other one, which is a story I've told for years now, is about the coconut palm, and I just love sharing it because it's such a beautiful metaphor. When the coconut palm senses that a big storm is coming, like a hurricane, it drops its coconuts, which is its fruit. It's, you might argue it's one of its most valuable components, and so it drops them so that it can survive the storm. And this is just something that's really in the forefront of my mind right now, is like, sometimes you got to let go of the thing that you thought was the thing. And then it turns out maybe it's not the thing. And maybe when you let go of it and you go through the storm, you end up better on the other side, right? Like the bison who turn and face the storms, literally the actual storm that's coming, because they know that if they go through it, it'll be over much quicker for them. So just a really cool metaphor. And I just love coconut palms. So yeah, that's a cool inspiration for me.
So, and one thing I'm going to say about that, as we're sitting here in hurricane season right now, I feel like I've never seen the coconuts just the coconut palms just drop them. And which also, like, for me, is these storms that, like, I know, like, I wasn't here for Andrew. I didn't have that experience. And so I just don't understand. But seeing the way that people freak out about the storms, seeing how the media is just like amping it up and like even more getting people riled up about it, I'm going to be like, the coconuts are still on the palm trees. We're going to be just fine. And like, I've been through, I don't know how many hurricanes now. I mean, I've been down here 30 years, and I mean, Wilma, Francis, I don't know. There's more that I can't remember the names right off the top of my head. I think it was Wilma. I went 12 days with no electricity, which was an interesting experience in itself. And it was a whole Facebook thing, people following me through the whole process of, and I remember at one point FPL's like, everybody's got electricity now. And I'm like, no, I don't. I do not. So this thing that you have on your website is lying. But it was still like, it was a beautiful experience, like seeing how people step up and support. But yeah, I'm going to be watching the coconut palms from now on for my concern about the storm coming in.
Well, so, and nature does that all the time, right? Like they say, if you go outside and there's no birds singing, or if there are birds singing and they suddenly stop, like pay attention. That's a sign, right? There's something that makes them feel unsafe. I think we've talked about this before, where neurologically our brains are conditioned to relax when they hear birds singing. Why? Because it's a sign of safety. And so your nervous system is like, okay, birds are singing, no danger, let's chill for a minute, so if you really think about it, technology isn't really that old in the grand scheme of human existence, and our brains evolve much, much slower than technology does. And so there's a lot of our bodies and brains that are really more tuned into nature than any technology, right? So as much as I appreciate technology and I love it, and I love that we can be on YouTube and talking to people all over the world, don't miss nature, because that's honestly your easiest, most successful place to be. Like, you want to feel good about yourself, just go sit outside for a hot minute and don't talk. Like, try that. It's really, really very exciting.
And I love how you say hot minute, because yes, we're in the middle of summer, so going out. So, but
I just want to tell you, it's in the 60s here. Just
beautiful. And I have to say, it was in the 80s here this morning. I was called outside to see the cardinal and the Oriole, and I went outside. Because it's August, and I'm expecting to be like hit in the face with the heat. I'm like, it's beautiful out here. I do feel like it's been a super mild summer, and I may have just like kicked myself in the butt here by saying that. Like the heat might be on its way now, but it's felt really mild and enjoyable. There's only been a few days where I'm like, it's too hot and humid, but and I
Well,
laughed when we were like talking about the weather so much on the show. You'd think we
I
were
know.
weather people.
Well, all I can think of is that you have spent most of your summer either in a sweat lodge or in hot yoga. So I think, relatively speaking, yes, that's probably true, because the rest of the map is like temperatures in 100 degrees, stay home, like all this stuff. And you're like, no, I'm going to make a fire. So,
Well,
yeah,
and so
you might
what
be.
was interesting on Sunday, you know, when you make the fire, like you're making the medicine, you know, it was me being medicine woman, Julietta. Good morning, June. And so, you know, like you're saying prayers, and it's a much different experience than just, you know, lighting a bonfire or whatever. So, and energy, like there is a lot going around. And after the second door, like it's not the heat that gets me, but just the energy of the ceremony. And I needed to remove myself from the inside of the sweat lodge. And so I crawled my way out, and I was like laying on the ground next to the fire. And like, who says, you know, in August that like laying next to the fire it was just so soothing. And I actually, you know, Chief's like, are you coming back in? And I'm like, I think I'm going to sit this door with the fire. Like I was just, I don't know, just having this energy exchange with the fire. And it was just soothing me and healing me and calming me. And by the end of that door, I was like feeling all like energized up and ready. And it really helped to understand like the transformative power of the fire. Like I was overwhelmed with energies. And, you know, we see this a lot, like people, the veil is thinning and people are becoming more and more tuned in to their empathic abilities. And then you have like other people's garbage floating around in you. And what do you do with that? I'm like, sit in front of the fire and let the fire transform it. And, you know, we discussed all this stuff on our 4 Elements retreat back in June, but like truly to sit there and like feel the full embodiment of that experience of the fire transforming those energies that I was struggling to sit with. So yeah, fire is an amazing, beautiful thing. So
Well, and I love that in your story, you listened to your body, you listened to your intuition. You know, people always talk about, I wish I was intuitive. I wish I could see things coming. A lot of that is simply attention and acknowledging what you feel in your body. And so the fact that you had this feeling and this message and this awareness of like, you know, I don't need to follow the rules, quote unquote, and do things the way they're supposed to be done. I can take a different path and get to the same destination. So I think that's a really powerful lesson there. Very cool. I'm glad you had that experience.
yay. I'm loving your little Highland cow mug too.
My little baby. I know, my little baby. This one is very 3D. It's very like put together separately. And I think I ordered it from a shop in England. So my
Oh yes, I remember.
knows no bounds.
Yes, yes. They're such adorable little creatures there. Enjoy saying fire, awesome energy. Yeah, it's, you know, and I think I've spoken to in the past too, that I being a Sagittarius, I'm a fire element, and I know I can be very fiery. And last year I had an experience with the fire, like almost just a breakdown over, it was really like, I don't really want to say a fear of the fire, but judgment around the destructive force that fire is. And back then I wasn't actually sitting with the fire. I was actually like digging my hands in the dirt. And it was like Mother Earth helped me understand that fire is not destructive in the way that we think that it is transformative. And sometimes things need to get burned up and turned into ash so that it can be transformed into something more powerful that serves you better. So,
yeah. I'm a big fan of the middle path, too little water, bad thing, too much water, bad thing, just right, perfect. It's the Goldilocks rule, right? Nice warm fire doing its job, excellent. Big giant fire destroying everything, not so good. No fire at all, very bad. So the middle path and the acknowledgement, the recognition, right? And I don't know, enjoying being in the moment. When one of the things that we did when our friends were here is that we went to a local spot, Fires Creek. It's just a beautiful outdoor area, and there's a waterfall and there's a creek, and the water is absolutely freezing, and there were so many people playing in it, particularly kids. It's like they just shut off that part of themselves that feels cold, and they had an absolute great time. So is the water cold? Is it not? I don't know. Is it relative to you? Right? Same thing about the fire, same thing about the earth. So yeah, really, really, really powerful. There is plenty of inspiration in nature. And if you happen to live in a concrete jungle, just keep looking. There is absolutely nature all around you. Air is nature too. Air is cleansing. Taking a deep breath can cleanse you on the inside just as much as anything else. So even if you're broke and you are living in a box, you can still take a deep breath and have nature with you. So it costs nothing to ground yourself and to be present and to be inspired.
Absolutely. Whoop, whoop. You got anything else for today?
I think I've said enough.
You are complete.
I'm complete.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, well,
thank you to everybody that listened in today. Super happy to have you guys here. And if you have your own stories about how you've been inspired, please leave it in the comments. We do read everything, and we're very excited to read it. So,
yes. All right. And I want to invite everyone to have a magical day, which can easily be found if you go just spend a moment with nature.
Bye.